Swim check 1, 2. Bike check 1, 2. Run check 1, 2. I think we're ready. Let's try this. Welcome to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast, a podcast where we explore the sport of triathlon from a variety of perspectives to help beginner triathletes on their journey. I am your host, Mashonda Shines. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of Try Beginner's Luck. Last week, it's interesting because I said we had made it to the end of Women's History Month. Well, technically, it was just the last Wednesday of Women's History, not necessarily the last month. But you know, when you don't realize sometimes what you're saying when you're right in the moment. So I hope you give me some grace, okay? With that said, this is your transition area during this season. At the beginning of the year, I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to stop creating content because the world is on fire. But what I said is like, how do we transition? And I was like, ding, ding, this will be your transition area where we will come here to decompress and not be distracted. We aren't turning a blind eye to the reality, but we are choosing it not to let it drain our battery. We will control the controllables. We can't fix the whole world at once, but we can control our effort, our kindness, and our community. We will fuel the fire. I am here to provide information that helps you cross your finish line, provide good stories, regardless of what is happening on the sidelines. We can recognize the struggle, but we can refuse to participate or contribute to the noise, and we can focus on the miles ahead. With that said, have you ever met someone who completely changed what it feels like to show up at the start line? Or who takes a sport that feels very intimidating, exclusive, even overwhelming, and turns it into something welcoming, affirming, and deeply human? Our next guest is someone who didn't just find triathlon. Triathlon found her in a moment when her body was asking for something different. A diagnosis that would have been very limiting then became an invitation to move differently, to live differently, and ultimately to lead differently. She didn't stop at becoming an athlete. She became a builder of spaces, a creator of community, and a champion for the women who wasn't sure that they belonged yet. Because she knows that confidence doesn't just come before you start. It comes because you start. And for more than a decade, she's been helping women take the first step, the first stroke, the first ride, and reminding them that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And it is an honor for me to welcome and a pleasure to introduce to this audience the champion of confidence, Mrs. Angi Klick. Welcome to Try Beginner's Luck. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, I'm excited to talk to you, or any day.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
brought that we have officially brought this to life from being in text form to being right here on the podcast. This is so exciting. This is a big monumental year for you. 10 years. And I forgot to say in the intro, she is the race director for She Tris. She Tris turns 10 years old this year. How does that feel? What are you expecting and anticipating?
Oh my gosh, it feels so good. I mean, just to have survived all of the moments in the 10 years, it's been such a joy. It's been such a ride. I've not only seen my event grow, I've seen my family grow, and just being able to celebrate the women that were instrumental in starting, the sponsors that were instrumental in I mean, just having their support. They're all my friends. And it's like it's kind of almost like a wedding or like a big birthday. It's We keep calling it a triathlon, but it's really just going to be a party on May 16th. I'm so excited, and just going into the 10 years. I've had a chance to reflect a little bit on kind of what has transpired over 10 years and the growth that we've made, but man, it's just a lot to take in.
Well, surviving the moments, that's a big one. and also your family growing, I wanna lean into that a little bit more. I had an opportunity to see a little bit of what that may look like when I came and did a race for you all in October of last year in North Carolina, Chapel Hill to be exact. I won't forever forget it.
Me
Chapel Hill,
neither.
right? Not Durham, right?
Well, right?
Okay, I
Chapel
got
Hill.
it. Chapel Hill.
You got it.
And tell me what surviving those moments look like, because sometimes people think race directing is so easy. Or not, maybe they don't think it's easy, but they just come to an event wanting to get a great event and have a great race experience, not knowing what goes behind it. But yet you have a family, you are a mom of 3, I believe. And in some minds, it's like, how can you do that? Plan races, be a mom, be an athlete, see the growth in your family, not the deterioration, be a wife. That's a job. Take us through this journey.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of parts to that, but I guess I would always start with my family. The first event for She Tris was in Mount Pleasant at the Ion Club, 16. Back then, it was an event held in June. I was 9 months pregnant. I was the big pregnant lady on event day, and as a typical woman, I was trying to do everything myself. So, I mean, I was loading and unloading trucks and setting up the whole event. I didn't even think about asking for too much help. I mean, obviously, I had my volunteers, but so I think there were some bets placed on whether or not I was gonna go into labor that day. Uh, I did not. I held out until July 7th, so I made it a whole other month. So, obviously, I went from having 2 daughters to 3 daughters, and now, it's a rite of passage to do my events, and now they're able to kinda work the events. You experience that in Chapel Hill with my oldest, and they just know. They know what event week is like, they know what is important to me, I think, above anything else, and they know that we are champions of women. If they are out on the course, they are cheering, they are clapping, they are supporting, and to me, as a mom and as a women's event race director, I can't imagine instilling anything better in my kids.
9 months pregnant. I can only imagine what you were out there doing and looking like and telling people, no, I got it. I got it. And I say that because your daughter, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but Ada?
Ada, yeah,
I did it right? Okay.
you did it.
Ada had hurt her leg and was on crutches helping at the race. And I'm like, she get it from her mama. That determination to want to be there, to want to help out. And as a teenager, that shows just the level of honor that she sees and respect that she has for you as a mom to want to be out there in crutches helping.
Yeah, there were so many moments that I had to tell her just to stop. But yeah, she was the kid born with running shoes on her feet, so I think she appreciates all sides of the event. She's done the event, she's helped out with the event, she sees her mom doing the event, so she's just, she's a little champion herself for sure.
I love it. Hey, Ada. Hey, that is we have a love for Asian cuisine. So shout out to my girl. In 2016, you saw that there was something significantly missing. You had been doing triathlons for a while in your area and in your region. There were no women's races. And you said, or what did you see that was missing that made you say, I want to build this? Because race directing isn't easy. Just from being an event planner and understanding events, what made you want to take this leap 10 years ago?
Well, I was working in a triathlon store and yeah, I kind of fell into triathlon. Then I was working in a triathlon store and I was the manager of a few stores. And the women that would come in asking for help had just such great questions. And they were just so open to suggestions of whether it was apparel or running shoes or fitness bras or just how to get through transition or what transition is, just how to show up on their event morning and be prepared, or just needing a little extra boost of confidence to make that leap to sign up. So I really enjoyed working with the women at the store. The men were great too. Some of them are still my best friends, but they were more of like, I'd see them on event day and they wouldn't have listened to me. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. You should have listened to me. So the women just had a real need for information. And I did the Nike Women's Marathon a few years prior, and I just thought they they just nailed it on so many things. And it actually wasn't a women's specific event, but 95% of the participants were women. And I mean, of course they have Nike budget and Nike connections. But I was like, I was so impressed with so many things they did at the event, and I just said I loved event planning. I had helped with a few local events, and I was like, when I do my own events, like, I will have these things that are non-negotiable. And then I showed up to a few of our local events that I had trained for and being a new triathlete, and they were fine. Like, I don't care. I've been an athlete my whole life. So, nobody has to coax me out there. Nobody has to give me too much guidance because I just don't, I'm just not that kind of athlete that needs that. But there are women that do. And
Mhm.
I got to a point in life where I had kind of fallen out of triathlon and I was the mom. I had the mom bod. I didn't want it. I wanted to feel like an athlete again. And I wanted to feel like myself. And while being a mom was amazing, there were lots of things that were missing. And I would try to convince local race directors that they should have a women's only event and a women's only triathlon. And they would just kind of laugh and be like, yeah, whatever, we're not. And it wasn't until I had Ada, had my first daughter, and then I had my second, and I had quit working in the triathlon store. And I decided to be a stay at home mom who's never at home because I don't believe in sitting still. And I had worked some part time things because I've always wanted to work. And then at one point, I just said to my husband, like, I think the I think I want to do this. I think I've tried to convince every other race director that they should do a women's only event, and they're not listening to me. And I really want to do this. And I think we could lose X amount of dollars if this doesn't go right, but I think it's worth trying. And therefore, I just wanted to create not the experience that I needed as an athlete, but the experience that I wanted for athletes and that I wanted for women. And that, if it had existed for my first triathlon, it just would have made it that much more special, just like, my first marathon did. And I just wanted to bring a space to women where, they may not even know what a triathlon is, or they may not know that they can do a triathlon. Are they avoiding it because it's intimidating? Are they avoiding it because no one's welcoming them? No one's holding their hand and telling them how to get started. So my goal was just to build something that women felt like they belonged as soon as they signed up or before they signed up, but just have a space that's theirs.
And you did just that, create a space that was theirs, and from what I've experienced, women love coming there. It is fun, the energy is high, people are excited to just try, and there's so much diversity that I love and appreciate. We often talk about the barriers having to overcome, and you mentioned a little bit of it with, saying, "Hey, I've gone to race director saying we should do this," and not really getting the response that you wanted, and saying, "Hey," telling your husband, "I wanna do this." When you said yes, what barriers did you have to overcome in creating the space that you wanted women to have?
Well, the first one's kind of comical and I laugh about it now, but it was all the fuel my fire needed. I went to a local, he did timing, does timing, and also he was a race director at the time. And I went to him and I said, hey, I have an idea. And I had gotten to know him through doing the local events. So I trusted valued his opinion and, trusted his judgment. And I said, I have this idea. I want to put together a women's only sprint triathlon that takes place in a pool. So we're not swimming in open water. We can see the bottom. We can see the line on the bottom of the pool. That the women get to ride through neighborhoods on safe roads that aren't highways. And then I want it to be a run. And then I want it to be a party. And I want it to feel like not just a old banana and an old bagel at the end. I want to reward these women with jewelry and things that they can take with them. And he, without skipping a beat, and I think without me even finishing my conversation, said, "That'll never work. That's not gonna work. There's no space for that." And I was like, "Huh, well, you're the only timer I know, so, I kinda have to hire you." But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "Well, here's this guy that doesn't believe in me, and I need his help to make this happen. What do I do now?" Um, so
Wow.
what do you do?
What did you do? Because clearly you still here. Because that's some woo, saw moment.
Yeah, I mean, I kinda laughed at him, and I said, "Alright, well, we'll see." And anybody that knows me knows that telling me no is the fuel that my fire needs. If you tell me something is not gonna work, or you try to mansplain something to me, or, just say something ridiculous that I don't believe in, well, I'm just gonna wanna do it that much more. I don't know if that's a fault of my personality or a gift. In this case, it was a gift. Sometimes it's when you're my husband, it's not always the gift. I will give him credit for putting up with it. But in this case, it was just the fuel I needed. And I was like, okay, well, are you with me or are you not with me? Because I'm going to need your help. I don't know how to do this. And I can do the marketing side, but I'm going to need you to help me do the back end side. And he was like, let's try it. And my favorite day was we opened a registration in November. I like built a Facebook page and I just told all my friends and they told their friends and they told their friends. And by March of 2016, the race had sold out. The rest is history.
Wow.
Joke to this day, anytime I have an idea, he's like, "So I'm not gonna tell you that won't work because he proved me wrong every time."
Wow. I love that you didn't allow that no to discourage you, but it fueled you. And the power of community, of just telling your friends and that multiplying to show a sold out event, again, speaks volumes of you and your community and your core group. That's powerful, Angie.
It was
That is
it was
beyond
great.
powerful. Now I want to ask you, we had this sold out race. You're saying, okay, I now have proof of concept. I've done it. What makes She Tries different than other races? And why should people race with you all?
Well, number 1, we never call it a race, and I always call it an event. I always call it a triathlon. Sometimes we slip up, sometimes we'll call it a race. But the reason I don't is because when I was a beginner triathlete, I told you, like, not much got in my way. I didn't really care. The event was fine, whenever. But someone said, "Are you racing this weekend?" And I was like, I mean, if that's what you call it, like, sure, I guess that's what I'm going to do. But I just remember thinking that's turned me off. And I really was just trying something new. I was gonna do my best. I was fumbling and putting on my gloves in transition because I thought I needed them. Like, I was making all the silly mistakes, all the fun part about being a new triathlete. So the word racing just really turned me off. So I vowed, and it's like one of the first things when I add team members, I'm like, we don't call it a race. But we all slip up. We all call it a race. But it's more of an event. And I forget your original question because I went off on my tangent, but
Me too. Oh, why people should race
oh, yes.
with you, or why people should come to your event. Let me change
No,
my language real quick.
you're fine, you're really fine. It's basically from the moment you sign up, we are We are your new bestie. We are holding your hand. We are giving you training plans. We're helping you be successful. So if you are willing and open to it, we give you every tool you need. We tell you what to wear. We give you a training program written by coaches that support our women. We have the best supporters that help us do that. We tell you if you need to buy a bike. We tell you where you should go in your area. We hold your hand through clinics. We get you started in the swim. We teach you that you don't wear underwear underneath your tri suit. We talk about all the fun stuff. That's all before the event even starts. We do a course reveal where we ride the course. You get to ride the course with me sometimes, and Sarah. And, really, once event day gets there, I mean, that's just the party. You've already done the hard work. So at Packet Pickup, we try to do things that are experiences. And I mean, I think in Chapel Hill when you were there, there was some taekwondo, and some, self-defense lessons going on in the corner and, transition talk. So really it's just about preparing the women to come to the event, having them participate in the event in a way that our volunteers are supportive. If you have a question that day, you don't know how to set up your transition, there is someone there that's gonna help you. Uh, all the way through the end of the event. Some of our events, you get a keepsake, you get a piece of jewelry, and I can't believe I'm not wearing it right now. I had it on yesterday. Some of our North Carolina events get medals, but you get something that you get to wear all year long and celebrate every day that you wear it. And then afterwards, it's just a party. And, our South Carolina events have mimosas. So it's just really, it's not only walking the women to the start line, getting them over the start line, helping them cross the finish line, and then celebrating their finish, and then keeping them going throughout the year to what's next. Is it another triathlon? Is it a promotion at work you now have the confidence to get? Is it a longer distance event? We're there for it.
Heck yeah, you are. Talking about jewelry and creating experiences. So I don't know if we should announce it here. Should we announce it here?
Sure,
Okay, okay. Oh
absolutely.
my God. Okay. So I did an event with She Tris last year, an introductory event that we did in Chapel Hill. And I was able to make this really cool, you see that TBL? I wear this thing, and this was just me making it. They had somebody who was a vendor coming in selling something definitely
That was
try
Fleet Feet.
related, but they wanted people to make like little jewelry. And so I made this and so excited. And because of that, She Tries and Mashonda times, I guess, TBL, because I am TBL, we will be their, I guess, lead announcer for their series. So I'll be coming on, I think, for 4 events or 3 events. I think 3 this year because I
Like
couldn't
3.
do 1. But come show up. Come have a party. March 16th. If you have not already
May,
registered,
May 16th.
Paget. Yes,
That just
May
passed.
16th. If you have not already registered for May 16th, clearly March has passed us by. We don't want to go
We
back
have
to March. We want to go forward to May. Come out with us. Tell us the details about that race and your amazing champion of enthusiasm, Sarah Hayes, who is episode 117. So if you want to check out Sarah's episode, go back to episode 117. Incredible. They are amazing humans. Okay, I'll let you go, Angie.
Yeah, we are definitely yin and yang. She came on board as my business partner a few years into She Tries, and there was no one else I would have handpicked from this world better than Sarah. So May 16th is the party. Actually, the party's starting on the 15th, technically. That's packet pickup. So we have a few fun things that we are doing that's new just for the 10th anniversary. And so we always try to have fairy hair. So that's the glittery pieces of like tinsel you get put in your hair. So we will have fairy hair, and we will have DJ Shane at Packet Pickup playing some music. He is also putting together some playlists to keep the ladies entertained as they're training and pumped up. we are making a story wall. So this is me and my creativity. We're gonna make little like story prompts. So everybody gets to put up their story on the story wall. And we'll be doing that at all 5 events this year. But it's kicking off at Ion. And then we'll have a little photo spot that you can take your photos. And then the night before the event, we are having a legacy party. And that is anyone who has done the event in 2016 and is coming back for the event for 2026. So that's 10 years. So you either age in triathlon or you age in age, but these women are defying all of that, coming back, and that's an invite only. You have an invitation as well.
Oh, I got
So
an
check that
invitation.
out.
Okay.
You got an invite. So that legacy party is just going to be a way to really recognize our supporters and the ladies who got us started and who are coming back for more. And we have a lot of ladies traveling in from other parts, as well. And then that's just the pack and pickup. So event day, we have you. We have you to kick off the party. So excited. We couldn't have
Hey,
anyone better. We have mimosas at the finish line. I'm trying to go for some pink mimosas this year.
I'm here for it.
And yeah. And then we also one thing that we have that I think is really cool is we have flowers at every event. So spectators, your family, your friends can purchase. You can buy your own flowers. What is that, Miley Cyrus? You can buy yourself flowers. Sarah usually sings that. I'm gonna spare you all. But you can buy flowers and you'll get them at the finish line. So we have like a cute little flower cart, and then we have like a pita truck and a coffee truck. And then Emily is designing a special keepsake just for the 10-year anniversary. So we can not give away anything about that other than it's very special and handmade by Emily, a local jewelry designer. And then we have an after party sponsored by um, Empower. I mean, it just the party keeps going. I don't for this to be the first event, I hope we're not worn out after the first one. We can go on to the second one.
All I hear in my mind is it's a party, it's a party, it's a party. We're gonna
I
have a
can't wait for
great
your
time.
playlist.
Oh yeah, my music be fi fi. Fi fi fi. Okay. So y'all come out, attend, support She Tries as they enter their 10th year. These races are very accessible. Why? Because they are generally in a pool. So it breaks down the barrier to entry. And I said it again, these events are very accessible because most of the events are held with the pool access. So you can swim in the pool, get your bearings, and then move on. There's a huge success story, and she's a huge supporter of Try Beginner's Luck. She started with you all maybe 4 years ago. Vaguely knew about She Tries, but then having Kelly Ransner on my podcast, uh, almost 2 years ago to date. So March 20th of 2024. So she's episode like 106 maybe, and she was on the podcast talking about how she came to the Charleston race that's in late fall and did it with her mom and aunt maybe. And then right after that, I reached out to Sarah to be like, hey, can you guys be on the podcast? And then from there, we've seen each other at other events, industry events, and it's become a love affair. Just beautiful, blossoming, not only just friendship, but partnership. And so you never know where starting your race will take you, because now Kelly she did her first 70.3 last year at Eagleman, blew it out the water. She's a Peloton queen. She still comes back and races with She Tries because she loves the event so much. So that is not only institutional retention, even though she's gone on to do longer distances. So just a shout out to Kelly, who's an age grouper and working her way up to the full distance race. As a matter of fact, I feel like she's doing a full distance this year, but I don't know because I haven't caught up with her this year to find out definitely if that's in her plans. So listen, enough of that. I want to now get into like you, Angie, being in sport, having to overcome uh now chronic illness to still try and give us, and then I want to learn more about your first time experience. So take us back into Angie, the athlete now. Who is
Well,
she and how does she show up in the world?
I, uh, it's funny because I think sometimes you think about things about your childhood or your parents and you kind of forget about them. And then all of a sudden, like a memory will pop back in and you're like, oh my God, that's where I got XYZ. And so my family, they were runners and they had fun before I came along. That's the joke in my family because I was 9 years behind my brother and 12 years behind my brother and 9 years behind my sister, and apparently they had a lot more fun. They used to go on family runs and do things like that, so I guess I kind of just naturally was born into an athletic family. My siblings did different sports, but my mom, she was the director of nursing at the hospital, and she would put on these health runs, and literally, this just, like, came into my mind a few years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, my mom was actually a race director." Nobody ever called her that. She just put on the little, like, I don't even know how far it was in a little local park on a path.
Mm,
They had I remember exactly what the shirts looked like. They had little shirts that were different color for every week or however, and by default, I was like Ada. I was her. I went everywhere with her. I was like her little companion and I championed all of the women's groups that she had. So I guess I come by it really naturally, but she would have these little health runs and I sent you a picture. I don't know if you looked at the pictures I sent you, but one of the pictures I sent you was me at the health run. I have these like goofy little sweatpants on. Ada actually looked at the picture and she's like, "Why is no one in running clothes?" I'm like, "Those were our running clothes." I have like a little silly collared shirt on and some ugly purple sweatpants. Um, but, so I think just being an athlete was
wait a
part
minute.
of
Let me see if I can show this picture to the people, or I may try to post it later, but let me see if I can show it. I don't want people to judge me for all my tabs I have open, but I feel like that may happen.
I'm a tab
Dang it.
open.
Okay, fine. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be bold and show the tabs. Look at that picture, y'all. I love it. Okay, now how do I get out of this? See, I'm trying new stuff and I don't know. Okay,
You did it.
I did it. Okay, and then if not, I'll try to post it in. We're experimenting new things with this podcast these days.
That's how we figure things out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think I came into an athletic family by default. I always played sports. I played field hockey because growing up in a very rural Pennsylvania area, there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. So I kind of did the sport that was available. So I played field hockey. I didn't really like it, but I played for years and years. And I had all my friends were from field hockey. And then I ran track. I loved sprinting. I loved running fast, short distances, which is kind of funny considering I did longer distances later in life. But really, the short stuff is what lights my fire. And then I played soccer, and because we didn't have a soccer team, we didn't even have a women's soccer team. We had to get it started. So I like starting things. I helped start the team at my school. By that time, I think I was a junior in high school. So I came into soccer very late. But man, I loved that sport. It just made sense. I loved all the running. I loved all the sprinting. I loved kicking the ball. I played defense, so I loved roughing people up. Like, man, it was my thing. So I went on to play in college and I was really small, played Division 2. By then you could walk at that point you could walk on to Division 2. I don't think that's even remotely a thing anymore. I really didn't want to play there. I wanted to play at this other school. They gave me a carrot cake. I think it was something about the carrot cake. I just thought there was carrot cake at that school. But I ended up playing at Division 2 and I was pretty small at the time. So I was about as big as the girls' legs were at that point and I was playing defense. And I was like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get hurt. So I just had this constant fear of getting hurt. And I decided that I wanted to leave the school team and I just wanted to play club soccer. And I think sometimes as you shift gears in life, I kind of gave up an opportunity to play at the college level, especially because I didn't have too much experience going in. I was just an athlete and was able to adapt quickly. But man, that was like one of the best decisions I ever made. Um, I played up until I was 37 years old. I played soccer, and all my best friends initially when I moved to Charleston from Pennsylvania, we all still keep in touch. We all get together all the time. Some of them still play. I stopped playing when I was pregnant with my second daughter. Long s- long story short, I got scared that I shouldn't be playing pregnant. So anyway, I bailed and then I fell into triathlon and marathon at that point. But yeah, I love moving. I love sports. I love trying new things and my kids all play sports. It's a rite of passage in my house. You have to play soccer at least once um in your life and if you hate it, it's okay, but you have to play something and you have to do something. So they all do different sports. Ada plays soccer. Um Grace is a gymnast. Ella Kate is a cheer extraordinaire. How I got that, I have no idea. But man, I love that she loves it. And yeah, so you know, my goal for my girls is to be like the women who do She Tris. And if you want to try the sport of triathlon at 50, at 60, at 75, which my mom did, go for it and have the confidence and the belief in your body that you can do it. So I don't care if they play in college. I mean, that'd be great, whatever. It'd be fun. But I love watching them do anything. I could watch them sleep and it's fun. But, the my goal for them is really just stay active, keep trying new things, and that's really what I hope they get from She Tries.
Wonderful. So you were a tough player, is what I heard when you were out there on the soccer field being a defensive player. You like to get rough and tough. How has that transitioned into you as an athlete when you started doing triathlons years ago?
I think it's resilience, I think. You Something happens, you find a different way to do it. You fall over in the middle of your workout, you get back up and keep going. That happened to me yesterday. I was doing a workout and I really wasn't in the headspace to be there, but I showed up, I walked in the door, and I was, like, about to cry in the middle of my workout, which that never happens to me, and I was just like, "Oh my word," and I was like, "I can't do this, I can't lift the weight I could 2 weeks ago," and I was frustrated because I had taken some time off, and I, like, fell over backwards because the weight was heavy, and I just fell, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm embarrassed. I fell over." So I got back up, and then, like, I was re-racking one of the weights and, like, the weight fell off, and then I was like, "God, Angie, get it together. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You showed up, you're here, you're not leaving early. Just finish the darn workout." I don't know what happened, but something clicked. And man, I crushed that second half of the workout. I did like 800 times more than I had to. I had my highest calorie burn of my time at this place. I mean, it was I don't know what switch just goes off in my head, I guess, of like,
Mm,
quit being a baby, quit taking the easy way out. Just do the hard thing. Just go for it. Just try it. Just what do you have to lose?
that's always the question. What do you have to lose? And the answer is typically absolutely nothing.
Right? Isn't being nervous like kind of the point of why we do stuff like this? It's just part of
Uh,
it. Nerves are okay.
they are.
It means you care. It means you care about what you're doing.
Taking us back now to 2007, your first race. Tell us the distance and what you can remember. Because now you've almost been in sport 20 years. You're at
Wow.
19 this year.
Wow. It's a long time.
Did my math, I do
Uh
my math right? 2020, 2007?
yeah,
No. Yeah,
17,
that's right.
27.
17
Yeah, you're
to
right.
yeah, okay, okay.
I just I think triathlon was always intriguing to me, and as an athlete, I'm like, "I should be able to do this, right? I can ride a bike, I can kinda swim." I wasn't really a swimmer. So, I think being an adult learning to swim was probably, if I look back on it, the kind of one of the trickiest things. I could swim, I was a lifeguard, but learning that was interesting. It was new. And then I learned to ride, I had a bike that was way too big for me, but it got the job done on my first event. It was a sprint event and it was in open water. It was the only thing in town. I think there's alligators in the pond. There still is. And, I was training with people. They were okay. Some of them became my friends. What I remember the most about it was running has always been a really big challenge for me. I've never really been great in the sense of like being fast, I guess, and what people constitute as being a great runner. But when I started riding bike, the more I rode, the more I cycled, the faster I got quickly. And I was like, this is like what I've been trying to do with running for my whole life. And now this has come so easy. So I really loved that. Probably riding my bike was the best thing that came out of that training, and just, learning how to ride and riding with friends. And it just became a really big part of my life. It's not so big anymore because it just takes up too much time for what I have right now available. But that was probably the most interesting thing that I learned get early on was just how rewarding it was. And more time on the bike equaled better. More running, more time running just equaled more running.
Who can't relate to that? Like, you run more and you be like, "Well, what?" But the bike, that is true. The more time you spend on the bike, the better, and then you start to I think the same can be applied to running if you get, like, a running coach and help with positioning and things of that nature. What would you have wished you would have known in 2007 that you now about racing and participating in sport?
Ugh. I think had I known how long I would be in the sport, I think I wish I would have known that it's not always like this. It's not always like a straight trajectory or you're not always getting better. I think you have to I think knowing early on that like I would stop and start and stop and start and get better and then get worse and then do a different distance and then it changes things again. I think maybe had I known that, I wouldn't have even done it either. But another thing is really just the friends that I had come out of it. I mean, the social part. I mean, I always joke around that I don't have time for any more friends, but then I make a new one. And really just how, especially getting busier with my kids and my family life, having those outlets for exercise became my only social outlets. And then I needed it even more. I'm just not a go out for drinks type girl, don't get me wrong, I would love to do that, that sounds lovely, but it's just not what my life lends itself to, but going out for a run with a friend or joining a friend for a workout it's my social time, and then I check the box also of getting a workout in.
Yeah, this sport has a way of doing that to you. So, I think that's such good advice in terms of the stop, start, stop, start, stop, get better, stop, get worse. It's a real thing, and it's just a part of the journey. But you had something kind of happen to you in which then awoken or awoke a chronic disease to your body, rheumatoid arthritis. How has that changed how you try, literally, pun intended, and work out? Because you just talked about lifting heavy weights. You're still active. How do you manage it? And if someone may have rheumatoid arthritis and think that they can't try or can't do sports at all, what would you have to say to them?
Call me, literally call me, and I will walk you through it. So I was diagnosed at 30 years old, which happens to women in their childbearing years. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Interestingly enough, I was running marathons and I was not many. I mean, I say that there's multiple, but no, it wasn't like I was doing them every week. I mean, I think I did 3 or 4 in my whole life. But when I was marathon training, it was like I was running on marbles. I mean, it was just the most uncomfortable feeling. And I had this, like, I would call it my, like, stupid finger. Like, one of my fingers was always stiff. And I was like, "What in the world is going on? My finger is always stiff, whatever." So I just kinda pushed through it. I kind of ignored it. And then I was like, "Well, maybe." I didn't know I wasn't diagnosed yet. I was just having inflammation. And then, like, my shoulder would hurt. And then, like, my wrist would hurt. And it was just, like, all these weird things. So I was going to PT or all these different doctors. And finally, unfortunately, I was I decided I was gonna swim, I was gonna bike because I had all these weird ailments. So I was gonna, like, try different sports, and that led me to triathlon because I was now swimming. I couldn't only run, and I was biking. So if my wrist hurt, I would swim. If my toes hurt, I would ride. It was just kind of like the sport became like a natural fit for an athlete who needs to move, who has pain. And I was getting, like, cortisone injections, like, left and right, and then I became bedridden with pneumonia. Like, it had filtered into my body so much that it was now into my lungs, and it literally stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, "Whoa." And I remember it was my primary care physician was like, "There's more going on here." So she put all the pieces together. She found me the most wonderful doctor in the world who became like he would call like I mean, he got me through childbirth, he got me through life, period. And the first thing when I went into him, I said, "I can't stop exercising. Like, we have to figure this out." So he was like, "Okay." He was like, "Buckle up." So I tried all kinds of different medications. It took years to get on the regime of what worked for my body, but, I know a lot of people aren't some people aren't too into modern medicine. If I didn't take it, I couldn't do the things I do. So I was willing to take it. When I did get pregnant and have kids, I had to come off a lot of it. So I did end up with some long-term damage from that, but, what are you gonna do there? So I would go back to my rheumatologist and I would tell him what I was training for next, and he'd be like, "All right, you're still crazy. That's how I know you're okay. But when I'm not telling you that you're crazy, then I know you're not okay." And we had moments like that. He was like, "You're not okay." And he would fire me up. But it was really, my doctor and my stubbornness, like that, it was basically like the world was telling me no. My body was telling me no. And I was like, well, shut up. Like, I'm not listening to you. We have to figure this out. We have to figure out what works. And lucky for me, like, I made triathlon work. I think it's probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me as far as having rheumatoid arthritis. I have never, like, there's days where, like, something will hurt and I have to tweak a workout or something, but I'm considered to be in remission. I still take a more medicine than most, to move, but I'm able to do things. I did an Ironman, so I have never let it stop me. And if I don't move, then I feel the symptoms even more. So my body has to move. So, should I be doing really long trainings? Like, maybe not, but now I added in strength training, which at first my wrist is an area that really, really hurts. I couldn't even do a push up, but now I can do like 50 after a year of just, you know, keep trying new things, keep finding out what works. I didn't know if that would work or not. I didn't know if hit training was going to be for me or not. And it turned out that my body likes that too.
Mm. I love that you didn't give up, but you found a way and you told the doctors, "Hey, this is what I wanna do," and they were willing to help you, and not everyone has that option, but when you advocate for yourself and just open your mouth, they have to listen, and most times they're willing to help, so kudos to you for making sure you had what you needed so that you could feel well and be able to thrive in your own way. What is the biggest misconception that you hear from women and or men about what they have to do before they start?
I don't know if it's a misconception or just their reasons, and I don't wanna call them excuses because that's not nice, right? Like, I think as women, we tend to put our families first, our kids first, and I think it's become very cliche, like, "Oh, take care of you." Like, what does that look like? Well, here, I'm gonna tell you what it looks like. I'm gonna give you this training plan, and I'm gonna shake you up and help you try something new, and I'm gonna tell you to borrow your neighbor's bike, and I'm gonna help you figure it out. And I'll tell you what, when you cross that finish line and your kids are there waiting for you with the flowers that they bought you from the flower cart, like, you're gonna be like, "Wow, yeah, I just did that, and I'm so glad I did, and now I'm gonna do it again." So I think, just and I did this too. I realized at one point, it was after I had my 2 kids, that I was in my own way. Like, "Get out of your own way." And sometimes I say that to myself even still. Like, "Get out of your own way and do something that's good for you, good for your health, good for your mind." And I think that's what, not only do I have rheumatoid arthritis and I have this long list of, you know, things I should and shouldn't be able to do, but like, just find a way to make it work.
That's
You
it.
have to want to do it.
Get out of your
Find me
own
a
way.
person that says they don't want to or can't do a triathlon. I don't care what size they are. I don't care what shape they are. I don't care what color they are. I will just give them to me, and I'll give them the pep talk and the belief that they need to do this because they can. There's no reason. We have had women of every shape, every size. We have a huge Muslim group that, I mean, they are fully covered head to toe. You'll see them in Huntersville. Um, I mean, there's no reason you can't do this. I've done events with people who are blind. I was able to do Ion with my buddy Amy. We rode a tandem bike. If you need an accommodation, I will make it for you. If you need
Mm.
a snorkel on the swim, you bring your snorkel. I will figure it out for you. If it's against a rule or something, I will still get you there. We want you to succeed no matter what it takes.
Spoken like a true champion of confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, I hope you are like in your chair or in your bike, however you listen to this, you fist pumping like, yes, 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 because that was so powerful and just encouraging. And so I'm excited to have you here, Angie. It's been a joy just learning a little bit more about your story. But we got a little bit of rapid fire, so we're going to get right into it. What kind of impact do you hope that women will carry away long after they cross the finish line?
That the finish line was their starting line. Their starting line was something else.
Finish this sentence. Confidence is
Everything
first race, first race nerves in one word.
expected.
This one is good because I think I helped with this last year. If She Tries had a theme song, be serious.
Okay.
What would it be?
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Okay, back to seriousness now. Early morning trainings or evening sessions?
Early morning, all the way.
Best part of being an event director. See how I did that?
Cleaning toilets. The stories, the
That's
journeys.
that's good. Finish line feels in one word.
There's so many words. Um, sometimes
That's a word. Relief. Okay. And because you have so many first timers come through your races, what does trying beginner's luck mean to you?
just letting women, men, people out there know there's people who want you to succeed and want you to consider this in your journey and start. And I think just the fact that you are such a champion of beginners and not only what we do, but you're a champion of the sport. And really, you have such a way of explaining things and making it, your own vibe and your own wording and how you speak to people. they just feel good when they're around you, so they wanna do this. I mean, that's amazing. It's such a gift.
I was just asking what does try beginner's luck mean to you? Not that it was like a podcast thing. It's like, but I will take all those accolades and just fill my cup with them and let it run over. Oh my gosh, yes. But wow, okay. Thank you. I received that. We don't let anyone leave the podcast without asking them this. Do you pee on the bike or get off and take a proper pee break?
So that depends how long the event is. If it's half Ironman or under, definitely pee on the bike. You didn't see me as a pee on the bike person, did you?
It's the way you phrased it. You said half Ironman or under pee on the bike. So that means for Ironman you get off?
Yes. It's too long. It's too long to be uncomfortable. That burns. You gotta douse yourself with some water. And then I don't care how long it takes me to do an Ironman. I'm an Ironman no matter how long it takes me to finish, or even if I don't finish, I'm gonna get off and go to the bathroom. I'm also gonna change my clothes. Maybe take a
You,
nap in transition.
you never know what kind of answers you're going to get. I was not expecting that. Usually we're like, oh, I'll pee on the bike. But it's specific. If it's, the half distance or below, I'm peeing. But if it's an iron, I'm going to be comfortable. Listen, respect. I respect it. This is Angi Klick, champion of confidence. It has been an honor. The dog is rooting for you. Woo, woo. Yes, yes. Perfect timing. Because he knew it was like wrapping this up. All right. If you love someone and you want them to try, this is the podcast for them. If you love what you've been hearing and you want to share it with them, please do so. You can find the podcast on every major platform, including YouTube and Substack. We have this saying here at Try Beginner's Luck, whenever you try, you always win. We believe that to be true. For now, it's a wrap. My name is Mashonda Miles, also known as Mashonda Shines, and we are out. Peace. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We need your help so we can continue to try at TBL. So for more information on where you can find and subscribe to this podcast, visit www.trybeginnersluck.com. And don't forget, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you always win.